Hello people, welcome to my channel. My name is Hilary and today I will be starting my second half of September reading vlog. So, September vlogs are not going very well. Today is 21st of September and I'm just basically starting second half of vlog. But hopefully at least I can read 2 books for this part of the vlog. And I actually have started the first one. It's called The Voice of War by Argyle, and this is a self-published fantasy series about a unique magic style. So this is about threadlighters, and I'm a little bit into the book, and as far as I have seen is they can feel some sort of threads and can manipulate that to, for example, jump really high, fly, make the landing much softer, or move things around. It's more like kind of like telekinesis, or just like pushing with the magical power force or something like that, at least as far as I have understood. This should be, I think, about 3 characters. I have got to know 2 of them, and the first one we start off the book is about the father and the commander of the team, where something is happening with his child and some people want to kidnap him, and I think also do at some point of the book, and he will try to get his child back. We have another character point of view, and this is basically a secret society of people who also have this magic, the jet light powers, and they live in their own community, but I don't know much what is that plot line. What I can say about that is I think I'm enjoying the world and all of that aspect. However, my main problem right now, 5 chapters in, is the writing. The writing style is very simple and it doesn't feel like complicated, matured writing style. It feels like something a beginner writer uses. It's very simple. It repeats words very often, and also repeats situations very often, and also some people, for example, commander of military, something similar, I think the character was. The things he says out loud doesn't feel to me the kind of vocabulary or sentence structure that the commander would use. So I'm not 100% vibing with the writing style. Hopefully it gets better throughout the book, and also hopefully it gets better throughout the series. And before I pop out to actually read the book, I wanted to go over my Bookoplathon reading stats or whatever. So I had 6 rolls. What I got was 8 rolls. What I have done is, for pattern and text, I read Beneath the Give by Erika Johansen. Then I got a random emoji that I got the emoji of joy, and I picked for that Ellis by Christopher Paolini. And then I also got a small book. For that I read The Woods Are Always Watching. And I also, what I have read is Favorite Setting, and for that I took Haunted House from horror movies, and I read White Smoke. So I have read 4 books, and I have still left to read 4 books. The Voice of War covers the favorite trope, and for that I picked Voice Inside the Head. One of the main characters has, I would say, maybe a duplicate personality or something, but it feels like basically there is a voice in his head that is very violent, and he's trying not to let that one control him. Then I have a mood read, and for that I picked My Dearest Darkest, and I'm reading that for an October vlog, so this book wouldn't be inside this vlog, but I'll mention when I have read it. For the winter prompt, I picked Where Dreams Descend, because the synopsis says there is a city covered in ice. And the last one is published or set in 1999 or before, and for that I picked Dune Messiah. And that I'm hoping to try to put also in another reading vlog. So my general idea is to read The Voice of War and Where Dreams Descend in this vlog, and hopefully I will manage that. Hi, so editing Hilary here, and the next clip was really blurry, so I am filming it just taking a really fast recap of what I said. I made notes. I'm right now at work. I have a little bit of free time before going to a seminar. So I finished Voice of War, and in general, I am very in between how much I liked it, how much I didn't like it. The main thing that bothered me was the writing style. It was horrendous. I felt it was very immature. It needed at least several patches of editing. However, it did get a little bit better at the end, and the ending of the book was so much more better than the rest of the book. So much more interesting, captivating, and everything. And as far as I have heard, the second and third book should be much, much better. So I am hopeful when I'm picking the next book up in November, I think. So what was my problem with the writing style? First was repetition. We got several times the second main character, Laurel, who she mentions that she lives with her brother and her grandfather, and the next scene we get from her was in her home, and she went to the breakfast table where her brother and grandfather was, and throughout the book it said her brother, name, her grandmother, name. So we could have just mentioned grandmother, said grandfather, and that's it, or just the name, whatever, but each time it was repeated similar way. Another was just the writing was very, very simple. I felt, as I previously said, a lot of times people were speaking in a manner that felt like a teenager would speak. Also, the descriptions of the general, and I understand not every writer likes to do very too long descriptions. However, if I were to think back to that book, I have no idea what were their technological time. We know about clock, so I think somebody somewhere made the clock as a pocket watch, and that was really, really surprising. But whether they had any electricity at all, we did get snippets that I think they used horses to travel, but that's about it. However, the houses felt still quite modern, at least I was imagining it, but honestly I have no idea, except for the forest. The forest part was described much more in detail, especially the woods and the forest, but not the houses that much. So I basically would have no idea what the world actually looks like. I'm sorry, it is almost 6 p.m. The sun is setting and hitting me right in the face. So, and there was one more thing I wanted to mention, and that was the motivation of characters. In many times, the characters just acted, and it didn't feel like they would act like that in normal situations. For example, we have somebody who had been straight at the beginning of the book loses a child, and he's really pissed off at it, but he has other childs at home, and he forsakes them to go help somebody out without hesitation, with no mention that he still has children at home. And then we have another character who previously lived in the forest, we discover, and she goes to another character just so we could have that scene, and asks, how can I get to that forest place? However, she lived there until after adulthood, so I would expect she knows that. And she escaped from that, so I have questions. From the point of views, I didn't mention the third point of view. Honestly, I have no idea what the character's name was, but basically father was a thief, and everybody are not very kind to him, and life is not very kind to him, and basically he died and wakes up alive, and something has changed, basically. So he's trying to figure out what is going on, and he has really, really shitty luck. However, I liked his point of view the most. I felt that he had the most of character, and he was the most interesting. However, also I felt the balance between the different characters and point of views, and throughout the book, very unbalanced. We get the most first half of the book, just 2 point of views, and then we get the third point of view once in the middle. I think it was literally 15th chapter out of 30, and then after that we get a lot of point of views of him, but we could have spread it out much better. So, as I said before, I think that the first book needs a lot of editing. But yeah, so what I also did was I started and finished My Dearest Darkest, and this is a YA mystery thriller, school setting. I think we have ghosts and dead characters also. I am reading that for the YA mystery thriller vlog that should be going up at some point later when I have read the third book. And I also started Where Dreams Descend, and this is the Night Circus, The Greatest Showman kind of magician's magic book with magical competition, but it feels a lot more darker. I think in the next clip I give more true overview about that. I'm editing that clip right now, so I think that is it, and I can give it back to the September Hillary. So I am back, and what can I say? September reading, I can't say it has been bad or really good, but it has been going kind of slow. So I did finish Where Dreams Descend, and I enjoyed it very much. It gave me all the vibes that Night Circus by Erin Morgensen didn't give me. So this book is about a main character, a female, who lives in a manor where she is a performer and does magical tricks, and is also kind of a showgirl. However, the place where she is, it is surrounded by forest, dark and creepy forest, and beyond that there is a dead city, at least what she knows. However, she finds that everything that's going on in the place where she stays is exactly not as it seems, and there is events that lead her up to running away from that place to the city, and there she discovers that there is a magical event taking place for magicians where they are basically competing against each other, performing, and she wants to win. However, in their society, female magicians are not very welcomed. They do disappear, and they usually are not great magicians, at least in the general sense what people think. So they usually are assistants to magicians or something like that. And throughout the competition we have basically she doing different magical performances, and we also see friendship develop and she changing and discovering more about herself. But also there is a couple of mysteries, what is going on. This city is a little bit weird, people don't talk about the past, and some of the competitors in the competition are disappearing. So I really liked it. It didn't have the very lyrical writing that the Night Circus had, but it had a really enough of descriptions and everything else. So I really enjoyed it, but also it had more of a plot and interesting characters and so much more than I felt that Night Circus lacked. And I think this is so much better book. And also I'm really excited to pick up the second book. I think I'll be doing that in November or December. For my Bookoplathon, technically I failed it. I had, I think, 6 rolls. I got 2 doubles, so that makes 8 prompts. And I have still left to finish Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. And it's the end of the month and I have not finished it. So my plan is to actually finish the Dune Messiah in the next 2 days, the weekend, the first 2 days of October, and it's the 1st of October right now, and I am also already making a headway in, and I think I'm still counting my participation in the Bookoplathon, not maybe a great success, but still passable. So for the end, I'll go over just what I read. So the first roll I did was Pattern and Text. For that I read Beneath the Deep by Erika Johansen. The next roll was Favorite Trope, and for that I read Voice of War, and this was in this vlog, so I read just 2 books in the second half of September. And that was actually a double roll, so For the next prompt, I got random emoji, and it was joy, and I read Alice by Christopher Paolini. Then I got mood read, and for that I picked My Dearest Darkest, and I have finished that. That will be going to my October YA mystery thriller book vlog. And then I got the prompt Winter, and for that I read Where Dreams Descend, and I really, as I said before, really enjoyed it. Then I got Small Book, and that was another double, and for that I read Dudes Are Always Watching. And for the double, I got published in 1999 or before, published for set, and for that I am currently reading Dune Messiah. And for the last roll, I got Favorite Setting, and for that it was one of the first books I think I read in September, and that was White Smoke. So I think I am doing semi-okay, and hopefully October will be a little bit better reading month, and I'm really excited for a lot of books. But this is about it. I'm sorry for the really short vlog, and I'll see you in my next video, and hopefully October goes better. Bye!